From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Steve Miller. The Xinhua news agency reports that 15 people are confirmed dead in a landslide in southwestern China. About 1,000 workers with life detection instruments are searching for survivors. The news agency says that no new signs of life have been found. At 6 a.m. Saturday morning, more than 120 people were buried in a landslide that caused huge rocks and a mass of earth to come crashing into their homes in the mountain village of Xinmo. The Israeli Air Force launched a strike in Syria after several projectiles were fired out of the war-torn country into the Golan Heights region Saturday. The air raid targeted 2 Syrian regime tanks in the northern part of the Golan Heights. The military said no one was injured in the incident, but asked civilians to avoid the area surrounding the border with Syria. The two countries are still technically at war. A Pakistani official says the death toll from twin bombings at a crowded market at northwestern town of Parachinar has risen to 67, bringing the overall death toll from 3 separate attacks to 85. Zahid Khan, a government official in Parachinar, said that many of the victims of the Friday attack are in critical condition and feared the death toll may further increase. Lashkar-e-Jhangvi, a sectarian Sunni extremist group, claimed the bombings in Parachinar for responsibility, a majority Shiite town. A suicide car bombing near the office of the provincial police chief in the southwestern city of Quetta has killed 14 people. The Quetta attack was claimed by a breakaway Taliban and Islamic State group. This is VOA News. Saudi Interior Ministry spokesman General Mansour bin Turki told Arab media that his forces disrupted a terrorist plot to attack worshippers Friday in the vicinity of Mecca's Grand Mosque. Attempts by security forces to storm a terrorist lair on a narrow side street near the mosque, however, prompted the man holed up inside in an upper-story flat to blow himself up, causing part of the building to collapse, wounding a number of people. A boy nearby recounts his experience.
سمعنا صوت كده انفجار قوية. أخواتي قالوا مطر شكله كده طراطيع.
We heard a very loud explosion. My brother said it may be fireworks, but my mother said no, it is something strange. Then I went outside and saw police cars, and then heard someone saying that there was a terrorist attack, and then many explosions took place. Ben Turki says the suspects have ties to the Islamic State terrorist group, but no group has claimed responsibility. The Trump administration has stepped up its fight against MS-13, a notorious street gang with roots in El Salvador. VOA's Miller Sega reports.
Another mass arrest of MS-13 members, part of the Trump administration's stepped-up fight against a gang notorious for hacking its victims to death. President Donald Trump blames his predecessor's immigration policies for allowing the gang, with roots in Central America, to flourish in the U.S., and he vows to demolish it.
MS-13 is going to be gone.
But despite some recent successes by law enforcement, Attorney General Jeff Sessions says the gang continues to find new recruits from its home turf, the so-called Northern Triangle countries of Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador. While 90% of foreign-born members of MS-13 are illegal immigrants, Nora Stay says equating criminals with immigrants is not based on facts. I'm Mil Arcega for Masoud Farivar, VOA News, Washington.
The Syrian government released Saturday hundreds of detainees, including some who backed the insurgency against President Bashar al-Assad on the eve of a major Muslim holiday. Hours after the release, though, a car bomb exploded in the rebel-held northern town near the border with Turkey, killing and wounding dozens of people. Leftist rebels in Colombia say they have released 2 Dutch journalists who have been kidnapped earlier in the week. Reporter Derek Johan Bolt and cameraman Eugenio Ernest Marie Follander were released early Saturday to a delegation of Colombian human rights officials in a rural area of Norte de Santander state. Bolt said after his release, the 2 men have been treated well. From Washington, I'm Steve Miller.
That's the latest world news from VOA.